Welcome back to another episode of the BigAsp Cornhole podcast. Your favorite Cornhole brothers are back. Dane, what's going on, brother?
Not too much. Not too much. We're people's favorite Cornhole brothers.
I'm just gonna go with it.
I'm down. I'm cool with that.
Probably not the. I mean, it's probably not the case. I hope maybe top five.
We're the favorite.
Maybe that'll be a topic of a show.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to be the best to be the favorite, right?
See if you got the Rawls. You have the Davises.
I mean, I think the Cobbs might take the cake, but
You got the Cobbs. You also have, I mean, obviously the Twin Terrors.
Twin Terrors, yeah, but they're twins. So
See, we're already
twins
naming like
twins
4
are
or 5
weird.
that we're already out of it.
I know.
It sucks.
A little
Alright.
depressing. All right, I don't really feel like recording any longer.
All right, well, Dane.
Sean, guess what? Our video uploaded.
Sweet.
Yes, last week's episode is finally up on YouTube.
We're on top of shit.
Technology.
Well,
Gotta
Dane,
love it.
just like the other 117 episodes, do what you do and let the folks know what we're sipping on tonight in the segment we call What You Drinking?
What you drinking?
Well, Sean, we are sipping on some Deschutes or Deschutes.
Deschutes.
Deschutes. It's from Oregon.
It is.
We got the Fresh Haze IPA. I love this Fresh Squeeze series. So, yeah, we got a whole slew of beers to go through tonight. So this is the first one.
Would
It's
you
an
call
IPA.
it? Would you call it intensely juicy,
Oh, it's real juicy.
irresistibly hazy?
Sure,
Does it feel freshly squeezed?
of course.
Okay. I just
Yeah.
think the can's hilarious, and then they also let us know that no fruit was harmed in the making of this beer.
Well, then how does it have like fresh squeezed juice in it? You got to harm fruit to get its juice, Sean.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Anything you need its juice out of, you got to harm.
I'm not arguing you.
Okay.
Okay.
So Deschutes, get your shit together. All right.
I'm sorry.
6.5%, by the way. It's delightful. Try it. We'll have some more coming up throughout the episode. And of course, What You're Drinking is brought to you by our favorite cornhole bag company, Local Bags. Guys, we say it every week, Pro Blend Resin. They have a bag for every kind of thrower. And you're doing yourself a disservice if you do not have a set in your bag. Your bags board backpack, if you will. So go on over to localbagcompany.com and snag yourself a set today.
Well, Cornhole peeps, we have more audio gold planned for you all today. We're going to recap our DK Cornhole lesson experience. We have a new shot of the week. We obviously have some bags to review. Up today are 3 series of bags made by Dash Bags.
Dash bags.
And then we're going to be joined by Mr. BagDaddy, Jordan Stephenson, and former ACL pro Grant Upchurch. But before we jump into all that, we bring you what's going on in our Cornhole lives in a segment we call In and Around the Hole.
Are you too good for your home? Answer me!
Brought to you by Airwolf Athletics, helping athletes become the alpha in all aspects of life. Use code BigAsp at checkout and get yourself 10% off. And that's airwolfathletics.com.
Picture this, all right? You're standing there at your boards. You look down at your hand, and it's a boring-looking bag. You start to feel sad. Your confidence levels drop, and you play like shit. Well, I'm here to tell you that, Dane, you don't have to feel sad. You, too, can have awesome-looking bags by snagging a set from Blackjack Cornhole. Free shipping, amazing customer service. It's a no-brainer, so stop what you're doing and go grab your gear from blackjackcornhole.com. And you'll save 10% if you use code BIGASP.
That's BIGASP at blackjackcornhole.com to save 10%.
Thanks, Dane.
You're welcome.
All right, so I know you played. Before we get into the lessons, let's just bite the bullet and let's talk about regionals.
Okay.
All right, so wasn't a great experience.
It was not.
And this has nothing to do with like the lessons. We'll get to that. We have not. So we played. Was it last regional? Was that the first time we played together in a year, or is it the one before that?
No, it was the last regional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just not clicking. Oh no, I'm sorry. We played at the KC Open.
That's right. Yeah. KC.
And we played reasonably well there.
Yeah.
These last 2 regionals, man, doubles has been a struggle bus for us.
Well, we're also in advanced, so when we're on KC.
Last
playing in the
regional,
Open,
I
little
felt like
different.
we left the 2 games we lost. I felt like we could have won.
Yes.
This week, not the case.
It was not the case, but I mean, I'm going to use DK as an excuse because I told myself I'm going to just stick to it. I'm going to just trust this, even though I know I'm not quite there yet, but every practice I can get is going to help. So I literally just used that as practice, and yeah, I mean, it was discouraging, but
I mean, it was basically like 12 hours after.
yeah, exactly. So, like, I mean, I just wanted to dedicate to it. I mean, I saw its potential.
Yeah.
I just need to practice it more to achieve that potential. Because, I mean, I felt it just on Friday when we were with
I mean,
DK.
Friday, when, like, even after DK left, me and you played a bunch of games. I mean, we both saw the potential. I mean, we were
Yeah.
both throwing really well. And I was like, all right, going into tomorrow. And then it just takes that time for that muscle memory to set in.
Yeah, I just gotta get some practice in. I mean,
So doubles did not go our way. All weekend for me, man, like at regionals was Christine Papke's really good at cornhole.
she
I mean,
is,
I
yes.
I threw against her in doubles. I didn't play terrible. That was actually, I think, my best game. I think I averaged like an 8-6. It's nothing to write home about. But for me, the first game we're playing, after I just got lessons, I changed a whole bunch of stuff during lessons that we'll go over. I felt good walking away from the game. Now, mind you, Christine threw almost an 11 against me.
Yeah.
I think it was like a 10.75. She missed one bag. I mean, what am I gonna do? I mean, there was nothing I could have done to stop.
You could have made her miss more bags than one shot.
I was trying. I was fighting it. And then the second game, I don't remember who we played.
God, it's all a blur.
It was.
We were up, we were down. It was Cito Soto and
Yeah.
Al
That's right.
Rector.
Yep. I threw against I threw against Cito. My PPR wasn't quite as high. I think I ended up like right around an 8, but I didn't
Threw
feel
far
bad.
better than my like 6 that game. So
Yeah, I didn't feel bad. Like I just like there was opportunities there where I had, especially I was putting at least one bag off that game. That's what was really my first bag was just kind of terrible. But and then singles, my first round, Christine Papke. If you go back and look at the game and you look at like the stats, you're gonna see like a PPR of like 6.1 something. I had 3 rounds where I scored 1 point.
nice.
She would get first bag and she was putting it like that level 1 blocker. And I know the only way I'm going to beat Christine Papke is if an airmail's going. So
Yeah.
I went into that match being like, now you can attest to it. Friday, I was throwing
Airmail
airmails
was-
great.
yeah,
I felt good with this
ripping.
new form. That's the one shot I'm like, I felt really confident. If I had 5 bags, rim, hit the hole, spin out, go off the back. By the 4th or 5th one, Christine was apologizing to me. She's like, I'm really sorry. She's like, I thought that was it. I'm like, God damn it. Like, I mean, I felt like if I was hitting those shots, because then she was missing the push shot.
It always sucks to face a nice person at cornhole.
And Chris,
when
and
they're throwing
I
a
told
shitty
Christine,
game.
like, I was getting a little frustrated towards the end, but I told her, I'm like, listen, you're supposed to kick the shit out of me. I'm just getting frustrated with myself that I went 0 for 6 for airmails that game. Like, you're not going to win any match to me, like, at that level against somebody like that if I'm going 0 for 6.
Yeah.
And what pisses me off is that normally in singles recently, I've been throwing airmail really well. So I figure, all right, if I can go over top and maybe she starts getting flustered just enough where I can at least stay with her. I wasn't expecting to beat her, but like make it respectable. It was not. And my second game against Chad Braun, apparently Chad Braun should want every match of his life to be against me. Because, I mean, the dude throws lights out. I mean, even he said it. He's like, I don't know why. He's like, I throw really well against you. I'm like, well, I'm glad I make you so fucking comfortable.
yeah,
Chad.
exactly, Sean. You gotta ruffle his feathers a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Chad's a really good player. He throws those bags really fucking well from
He
toss
does.
tech.
Yeah, he really does.
But yeah, so hats off to both of them. I got my ass kicked. It was not a great performance, but I was happy relatively like where the PPR was. And let's go into the lessons.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Friday, DK, we all met up at where you work. You have this
That we
ginormous
did.
warehouse. We had an awesome set. It's like perfect for cornhole.
Mhm.
So we're kind of just all hanging around, and boards are set up, and I kind of just walk up to the board, and it's like it was so even keel because we never had like, okay, we're starting the lesson now.
Yeah, no, he just kind of walked up and started helping.
I'm throwing, and DK's like, all right, and he starts throwing next to me, and he's like, all right, show me how you grip the bag. Now, this is the first part where I'm like, oh no.
How do I grip it?
My grip has evolved, all right, through the years. I used to do, now if you're picturing this, if you're on YouTube, you'll be able to see it. But I used to go flat fingers, all right? So straight, I would only bend what we call our MCP joints, right? I would just bend those.
nobody
and
calls that.
Keep the fingers fully extended, and then I would just have a fully extended thumb on top. So like this, like
The claw.
claw, basically. I'd have a claw grip. That's how I was throwing it when I was stepping, and I really didn't change it up until maybe last year. And then I advanced into straight fingers on the bottom, but then I was really doing this butterfly grip, digging my thumb into it, felt like I had more control. So I'm like, all right, started throwing a flatter bag, was never really spinning the bag that well, but I could throw flat.
Mhm.
So DK, I showed DK how I'm gripping it, and he's like, all right, what would you say if I changed everything about your grip? And I'm like, oh man, okay. So he's like,
Worked
first of
so
all,
hard on this.
I had the bag out of my fingers. He's like, no, bring the bag as much into the palm as you can. And he's like, instead of doing this butterfly grip thing, he's like, I want you to close your fingers and keep them together. So now I'm going from always throwing with the bottom four fingers flat to now curling them under and really getting a grip. And now my thumb is really just there as a guide point.
Mhm.
He didn't want me really digging in my thumb at all for that at all. So that alone was a little bit of a change. I was okay, just was going to take a little bit of time getting the bag to come out of my hand. And then we go down, and he looks at me and he's like, you're a righty. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, what would you say if I said to put your right foot forward? And we had this long discussion. I'm like, I've tried it. I've fucked around with it. I just always felt off balance. I felt like I couldn't generate enough power. Like I felt like I was frisbeeing the bag always at the board. Like it just never felt natural. So we go, and he gives me a great rebuttal. I'm like, why do you want my right foot? Like, what's advantageous about it? And that's just kind of how I think. So he started going over this whole thing where if you're right foot forward, basically you're just staying in line the whole time. And he also showed if you throw with your right foot forward, when you're releasing the bag, if your foot's at the front of the board, you're giving yourself a good anywhere from like 6 inches to a foot.
Yeah.
Further that you're releasing close to the board.
That much less.
Whereas, if my left foot was forward, my arm's not gonna be able to reach out as far. So I mean, it was a big difference. So to me, those are the two biggest things that I really had to get used to in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then my line was down. I was throwing air mails well. Even if like the bag came out of my hand a little funny, it was still going down a straight line. So I'm like, all right, I like this. And he really emphasized like tempo with me because I used to have like a slower backswing and then really kind of rush the bag forward. Where now I'm just trying to be a little bit more even keel. And then I think pretty much the last 45 minutes with me was all about spin the fucking bag. And he kept going over like, hey, if you have a card in your hand, flick like how you throw a card, flick your fingers out. And I thought I was doing it, but I couldn't. I didn't figure it out until after he left. There was one time where I got it to spin well, and he showed me how to tilt my wrist a little bit to get a flatter bag, have my grip, and then he told me just to kind of curl my wrist underneath. So now I used to hold a bag here. So now I'm just here and I'm curling my bag underneath with these full grip fingers here. So now it's just straight back. And then as I follow through with my wrist already being cocked a little bit, now it's all just natural. But I really have to think about that.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, that was my biggest struggle, was just trying to like repeat everything. Because like when I could repeat it and it felt smooth, I hit every shot I knew I wanted to. But it's always, I mean, cornhole's such a mental game. As soon as you're thinking about it, to me, it's like.
So he saw you throw it first, and you already throw with your right foot forward. You kind of already had that similar grip.
Yeah.
And he saw you throw. He's like, all right, you throw a nice bag. Like, it comes out of your hand nicely. But the first thing he noticed was you don't take the bag far enough back.
I don't. I literally throw from my pocket.
Yeah. So he was like, tempo. And once you got the tempo, I felt your line was so much better.
It was, I mean, that's exactly how I felt too. And like, that's why I started seeing the potential. I mean, hell, at the end, I think I hit like 47 out of 48 bags when I was just messing around, throwing stuff back and forth. So,
well, me and Derrick were talking off to the side, and you were just kind of going, and we didn't say anything. And he's like, "You notice this?" And he like points over, and you would set a stack of bags like
going just pouring out of the hole. Yeah, I mean, I literally could not make any more because they kept falling out.
So I thought your throw tempo wise, and then I don't know on Saturday if it was just your line was a little off, and then you were getting frustrated and thinking about it too much.
I was trying to focus on the tempo more than my alignment, and my first bag was my killer because I was not putting it in or like close to the hole. I was like constantly right, which I'm not used to that. I'm used to pulling it across my body usually.
Correct.
So yeah, I mean that was a little more frustrating, and I'm also used to having my bag go a little right to left, but the little thing that he helped me with my grip, because I never felt like I had like a consistent grip. It was always I was kind of similar to you, where I had it up in my fingers a little bit, but then I would pinch everything.
Yeah.
So like
he wants you to set the bag as far
put it
into
into your palm. Yeah. So then I'm in the back, but he also had me just kind of grip it a little further back on the corner. Which I mean that helps me not have to spin it, because I always like back when I would throw from my pocket. I mean I would come up and just like rip that thing at the top of it to get it to spin. But now, like with the arm swing and everything, like it's kind of just natural. It comes out with a better, more controlled spin, which is something that Derrick kept harping on. He's like, you just need to get a controlled spin. And I see why, because I don't get that random kick, even though the bag was put right in the center of the board.
Correct.
Every once in a while, throwing carpet, I would get this massive right to left kick, and I would never know where it came from. And he was explaining to me that it's because the RPM's a little too irregular, it's too high, and it was tilting down a little bit.
Correct.
So then it would hit and then just cut because it had so much.
And that was
to
one
it.
of my biggest takeaways too, is that every once in a while my bag would have that front tilt to it, which is not always great. And it was just a release point with me.
Yeah.
So once I started focusing on, and he went over, I mean, he did such a good job, and like basically painting like this 3-inch like little window right on your chest.
Yeah.
It would go like, just if I'm going for a push shot, I'm releasing just below like nipple height. If I'm going for a slide shot, it's nipple height. If I want to go for an airmail, it's just an inch above
Like
that.
collarbone.
When I realized that, airmail seemed like I was just stroking, because then I'm like, all right, it's the same throw. I'm just releasing it just a little bit higher, but same force, it's going in. Like, it was perfect. Like, that really clicked with me.
Yeah, and that's always something that I never thought of an airmail that way.
No.
I always thought of it as like, oh, just throw a little harder.
Yeah. I mean,
Instead,
seriously,
like-
it would sound stupid, but
Yeah, it does sound stupid because it's common sense, but then when you put it in terms of like your release point, like Derrick did, yeah, it made whole lot of sense to me.
I mean, because all the airmails I missed against Christine were, I mean, they were just right. Like, I feel like my release was just maybe just a hair off, like my alignment. So all of them were just a little bit right, but the distance was like right there. I thought, I get people would be hesitant about taking lessons, right? Like, do I want to invest in this money, or even virtual lessons? What I took the most out of it, and what I can appreciate as being a former coach, is that how good of a job he did with coming up with a creative way to work on it without just making it be like, well, do it like me.
Yeah, he makes it light, and he has so many different ways to change your throw.
Like, me and him must have thrown a bag back and forth like 10 feet away from each other, where he just wanted me to rifle it like at his chest just to get it out, like just to spin it.
Yeah.
I mean, we must have done that 100 times. That made a big difference. I still have to get consistent with it, but little drills like that and how he was explaining things, because if he was going to tell me throw with your right foot forward, but he couldn't explain to me or articulate why he thought that was beneficial.
You would have hated it because
No, I would have done, because he told me right away, if you don't want to, he's like, if you're not 100% in, he's like, then keep your left foot forward and we'll work around that.
Yeah.
And I told him, like, listen, if you think it's that advantageous and you just made a good argument, I'm willing to try it. And then the more I did it, the more reps I get. I'm like, all right, you're just being a bitch. You just need to throw more with your right foot forward, and it's going to come. Because when I stopped stepping, it was the same fucking thing. It felt weird.
Yeah.
So I just need to get more reps. But he does such a good job of breaking everything down simply so you can understand it. And then, but also backing up what he's saying and why he's making those changes. And again, he can make changes from low level, like, I mean, come on, he literally changed my stance, my fucking grip, and release.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the 3 fundamental parts. I mean, I understood where he was coming from, and it wasn't like, some of it seemed like it was a lot, but it was like just wrist position as I was releasing the bag. You know, little subtle changes like that. I mean, they can be really beneficial for players of all skill levels.
Absolutely.
The guy he worked with on Saturday,
Yeah.
ugly bag, real ugly bag. By the time he left 3 hours later, it looked like a normal flat bag. The guy still had to work on his, alignment and all that stuff, but the bag actually looked like he'd played cornhole before.
And to me, that's really the first part. If you can master the flat bag, then like touch and everything come with time after that. Now, I will say the thing that surprised me the most about starting an arm swing, which I've now realized how you're able to land a bag so much softer than me, and that is how soft a bag lands when it's not like just rifled from your hip, only 5 feet off the ground and spinning at 100 RPM. Like, it made a huge difference on how soft the bag was landing. Just another thing that was throwing me off on Saturday, but luckily I'd made a few tweaks myself. I've been out practicing the last 2 days because the weather's been decent. Sunday and today. So I'm taking a little tip from the athlete, Chad Braun. I'm getting in more of an athletic stance, and it's helping me out greatly.
The one thing I'm having a hell of a time doing, and it was when on Saturday before we started playing, he was going over, he's like, let me just see how everything looks after yesterday. And he's like, everything's looking a lot better. He's like, you got to cut out that shoulder dip.
Yeah.
I have been trying to do that for 3 years. I don't know what it is and why I always do it. Like, I don't. So like tomorrow when I get to work and I get to throw bags, that's all I'm going to do. I think I'm going to videotape myself just so I can watch the difference between, all right, shoulders level, where's the line of the bag versus like if I start to dip.
Do you have to? So funny enough, like I've noticed some players like use their offhand and like grab their shirt here.
Yeah.
Do you have to hold a bag? I would say try that.
I don't have to, but that's why I feel more comfortable if I'm here rather than just holding the bags down here.
Yeah, but
Like,
I'm
I
saying
always
like
need to
maybe try just putting the bags down and holding your shirt,
Yeah.
because then you'll physically feel it dropping each time
Yeah.
when it's in your hand, and like, it can just kind of be another
The problem is
reminder.
if the dip was always the same every time, then it'd be fine, but it's not.
Well, there's plenty of players that like kind of start off like they just dip the whole time when they throw.
And that's
They're
the
kind
other
of
thing.
always
Okay,
leaning.
maybe I just need to start
maybe
cocked a
that's
little
just
bit,
maybe
and maybe
that's
just
your
don't
dip.
fight it and just change my starting position and just kind of
Because
keep that motion.
I think subconsciously what happens when you dip, you're trying to avoid your hip.
I don't know if it's that. I feel like it's just almost like a momentum thing. Like I'm really just trying to get down underneath it to go. Like I almost feel like I'm not getting enough force behind it just to get the bag there.
Yeah, I mean, rather than getting underneath it though for like a push shot, you want to be have that force going
Well,
forward.
that's why I suck.
That's what I mean. See, I can explain it. Doesn't mean I can do it.
So it's gonna be something I'm gonna work on. But again, my biggest takeaways were I was crazy impressed with how well he breaks everything down, how easy he makes throwing a cornhole bag look. When you see him throw a bag like in person, Jesus Christ, man!
Yeah,
Like
it's-
I'm like, how aren't you winning like every fucking national?
It is
Like,
impressive.
I mean, the one time, he was standing off to the right with me,
Mhm.
and he was just fucking around. He had 4 bags, and you were going to slide. He was throwing it from an angle like 40 feet away, just diming it.
Well, he was hitting my bag as it was going to slide into the hole. I'm like, that's called some accuracy right there. Like my bag was literally sliding up the board, and he would be throwing at the same time, and it'd knock mine out of the way,
Fucking
and his
dirty
would go in. I'm like, what the hell?
But crazy nice guy, down to earth, makes it enjoyable, does it, and he's there for you. Like he realized like he's on your time,
Oh yeah,
and he got to a point where I think it was after, was it 2 hours? Maybe.
yeah.
Probably right around 2 hours, 2 hours, 15 minutes, where he's like, what else do you feel like you need? He's like, so he made us play a game. We played the game, and he's like, it's there. He's like, you just need reps. He's like, like it was consistently there. Now, what I liked about him a lot is that if we fucked up or we threw a bad bag, he wasn't like, oh, that's all right.
Yeah, no,
He was like, hey, that sucks. Like, he's like, what did you do wrong?
yeah,
And then that's to me, somebody asked me actually the other day, why did you like doing the lessons? Before, when I would throw, if something would go wrong, I'd be like, well, what the fuck was that? Now, if it comes out of my hand weird, or if I throw a bad bag, I know what I did wrong, and I
Yeah.
know how I can go back and fix it. And to me, that is worth a lot when you're trying to when you want to be
100%.
competitive in
I
this
mean, we
game.
mentioned that like right when we were leaving the warehouse on Friday. I'm just like, now I know, like I can feel when I'm doing something wrong
Yeah.
because somebody explained it to me, and it's gonna work out. I just need, like we said, just gotta get the reps.
Yep. So hopefully Thursday we'll be able to get some reps together.
Yeah, and I'm not, we're not looking for much. We just want to,
I would
maybe
like-
get to like an 11 PPR.
I want to get
and
if I can
be the
consistently
greatest
get
cornhole
to
players in the world.
if I can consistently get to a 9, I'm happy with that. Like, let me average a 9 PPR for now. Like, just get, and then from there, then you take the next step. It's just like when we're golfing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Your first step, all right, break 100. All right, and then once you break 100, you're like, all right, can I break 90? And then to me, like, the big jump was like going from 90 to like, like those mid 80s. Like, it gets harder each jump you make down. So I'm hoping that if I can get to 9, and then the next jump, all right, maybe like a 9.5. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just try to get to those numbers. And it's going to be harder each step, but if I can get to a 9, I'd be very happy.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to start getting back to those like mid 8s that I was like when I felt like I was throwing my best, and
That's
then
true.
see where it evolves from there. But I'll tell you what, one thing that I'm going to work on greatly is the airmail.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just start being Jimmy McGuffin. Just start flying it right to the hole all
Sort
day.
of fucking something sticky.
Yeah,
and
just right at the hole all day. Why
Why not?
not?
All right. So let's go ahead and do the shot of the week.
Shot of the week.
And this shot of the week, all right, is brought to you by Mr. Joe Niestedt. All right, ACL Pro Joe Niestedt. This dude
Excuse
hits an absolutely ridiculous cut shot that I thought I saw not in person, but in person on Facebook, I guess. I watched it twice, watched it 3 times, messaged him. I'm like, dude, to me, that shot of the week quality. Can we borrow your video? And he said, absolutely. So if you're on YouTube, check it out. If you're not on YouTube, Joe basically is playing another guy. Has his 4th bag. His opponent has a bag right in the front of the hole, like maybe a quarter of the way in, and Joe has a bag that if his arm is outside, so it's to the right of that front blocker bag. He decides, hey, I'm going to throw a cut push shot and then actually leave that front blocker in there, and it's incredible because he does not have a lot of room to make the shot happen.
It's a smooth shot. I mean, he's got to carry it deep on the board because he steps out to get the angle and cuts it, and yeah, I mean it's a heck of a shot to leave that bag behind.
So if you're on YouTube, enjoy this clip real quick. One more time for the folks at home, Dane, watching on YouTube. Cut shot, pushes it, rolls a little bit, and actually still leaves the blocker. It was a great shot.
It was a great shot, and I'm sorry for those of you listening that might have had the volume on it. I forgot to mute it, so you might have gotten the sound effects from the video, but it's a short one. It's okay. But just take our word for it if you're listening.
All
Hell
right.
of a shot.
Well, now we're going to move on to the bag review.
Oh, yeah. Let me...
And you feel it, and it feels like a bag of sand.
And the bag review is brought to you by Bagsboard, the maker of the original Cornhole bag backpack. Now offering you a build-your-own feature that has over 10,000 combinations to choose from. Need patches go on that sweet-ass bag? Bagsboard has some of the best around. Visit bagsboard.com and grab yours today. All right, so today we have 3 series of bags by Dash Bags, company I was not familiar with before they sent us bags.
Yeah.
Again, same thing. Happened to scroll through Facebook. I think I saw the 1 series bag, the Codebreaker. Thought they looked cool. Reached out. They were kind enough to send us some bags to review. So let's go ahead and start. I think we got to start with the OG, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So the first bag we're going to go over is brake pads. All right. Skirt. So you hear brake pads and you got to think slow, right? So this is basically suede with a Surefire-like type material. Pretty close.
I think it's Surefire.
Yeah.
Surefire fast side.
But you have suede, okay?
Yeah.
So you have 1, and this is sticky suede,
Or no,
right?
this is actual Surefire. Like
Yeah,
so
so this
slow
is-
side of it.
Yeah, so on the slow side, you have suede.
Yeah.
Very sticky suede, not going, but old school stick. And then again, you have like that Surefire material. So you have like a 1 and then like a 4 to 5, depending on board conditions. Sometimes a 3. Who even knows? The fill in it is pretty big.
It is, yeah. It's just overall a pretty big bag. In your
Yeah,
hand.
non-universal fill. It's blended a little bit,
Mhm.
but the fill is pretty big. For a suede bag, I will say, pretty broken in right off the
Yeah.
bat.
No,
these were pretty nice.
It's a smart pair with that side because it does make it pretty floppy.
This is an excellent bag that I would keep around. And again, I don't mean anything negative about this. This is like a great, like, families coming over, let's fucking bust out the bags.
Mm-hmm.
Because me and you, a lot of times when family comes over, we just bust out suede.
Yeah,
like, let's go
absolutely.
old school, stick and slick. Everyone can tend to play with those.
It makes it to me like it makes the game more fun again because you got to shoot more airmails if you want to
Yeah,
put it
yeah.
in. You know, you gotta hit crazier shots with suede. So yeah, I always enjoy.
And plus, my
throwing
dad's getting better with faster bags, so it's just better.
Yeah,
just
so
to
just get them
give
on
something
suede.
sticky.
Watch that thing kick.
Yeah, they're well made. Well made bags, good materials. Really, small closing seam. I was actually pretty impressed by like the overall craftsmanship of the bag. Relatively square template, just slightly rounded at the corners, but all in all, I mean, a solid bag.
This bag kind of takes me back like to the Cornhole bag game like from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
With like simple graphics, just like make the colors pop and go from there. I mean, I liked it. That's
I
yeah,
mean,
it's
if you
sweet,
are
man.
a hard bag thrower,
Yeah.
there you go.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
You're not going to find much out there that's slower than this.
I love
bag.
me some suede, man. It's just
It's fun.
it
It's
makes
fun to
the
play
game-
with.
Yeah.
Now, I actually thought about it the other day. I'm like, what if we go to the next regional and we just throw the local 450s? Like, let's say we're just going to commit to it. Fuck PPR. Let's just go and just try to make it as difficult for everyone as we can.
Dude, people would hate us.
I mean, I
They
think
would hate
I
us.
think it might be kind of fun. So
Absolutely.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. So maybe we try
I'm
doing
down.
that.
Yeah, bring back suede. Let's go.
Let's try. You know what I mean? Just something. I mean, everyone thinks carpet sticky. We're going real sticky.
Well, I mean, now that Sean's throwing a flat bag, I'd be more willing to throw suede.
Maybe. All right. So design score. I like the purple.
Yeah.
Design's very basic. You got their
It's
logo.
like some
I like their
clip art.
logo, though.
Yeah, I mean the logo's awesome. The clip art, On the other side, I could
okay.
do without. Yeah,
I'm gonna go 60. Nothing crazy. It's okay.
yeah. I mean, I'll go 55.
Performance wise, it's a fun bag to throw. With that being said, I'm not gonna use it in like higher tournaments, I don't think, but I'm definitely gonna keep it around. I thought it was fun to throw. I'm gonna go with a 61.
Yeah, I'm gonna go just under at a 60 again. Like it's suede. I mean, you don't see pros throwing suede for a reason. Am I gonna throw this in a tournament? Probably not.
Yeah.
But against family, friends, and people in my backyard and good practice, absolutely.
Yeah, if you want to stick bag, I mean,
Yeah.
this is right up there.
All right, next up, which one do you want to do? You want to go?
Let's do Code Breaker.
All right, going on to the Code Breakers.
So this bag caught my eye. Again, going on Facebook. This is again like surefire type material on the slow side, but on the slick side, they have there's a bag out there that uses this, and I'm blanking out on which one, but it is like
That's not Patriot, is it?
I think it's actually the flying dirty bags. Maybe use the same stuff, but again, regardless of what it is, right? Regardless of the exact material, and this I was gonna say, look at the BagDaddys. Actually, is it the same thing?
Looks pretty close to the teardrop, but that's not
No,
it.
it's not the teardrop. I was thinking of one of the other ones.
It's not the crossover.
No, what was the other one?
Triple
that's the
threat.
one.
Yeah,
It's
not
pretty darn-
really.
It's close though.
Close-ish though.
All right.
Yeah.
So you have floor on the slow side again, like surefire type material. You have a 7 on the slick side. Very similar template to brake pads. Just again a control bag, right?
Yeah.
You don't want something super slick on the slick side, but you want something a little bit faster that you can push. Sneak between bags. Boards get sticky. You can kind of flip it over. All in all, it's a solid bag. I liked it. What did you think? I mean, this was I think
It's a smart material pairing. Followed up by we forgot to mention on the last one, but he puts numbers on the sides
Yeah.
for speeds.
It's nice.
Brilliant. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
I do love that. But yeah, smart materials. It's a good feeling bag in your hand, man.
Yeah.
I like a chunky bag. It's got that.
do you
little
like
bit of
the do you
thickness
like
to
the
it.
fill?
Yeah, I mean it's not bad.
It's
It's
okay.
it's a little bigger
Yeah.
than a lot of the stuff that we see out there right now.
And
but
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say I don't like it. I'm just not used to it.
yeah, I mean, to me, the bag's gonna bounce a little bit more because of that bigger fill in it. But all in all, man, it doesn't take away from its whole friendliness.
No,
It's a
it
good
doesn't.
bag.
Yeah, it was very solid. I threw it decent. So,
Yeah.
Design score. I like this design a lot.
That's actually. Does he have one that's like a matrix color scheme?
Maybe.
I think that's the one that like caught my eye as well when I saw it posted up. But this one still has like that matrix coding in the background. Some people call it binary, if you will.
What are you going with?
Dude, I don't mind it. Give me an 80.
All right, I'm gonna go 74.
Okay.
Performance wise, it's okay. Again, I think it's the fill that's getting me a little bit.
Yeah.
I tend to like just a little bit smaller fill. Although it's non-universal, it just some of the pieces are pretty big.
Yeah.
It was okay. I'm gonna go with 65.
Okay. I'm gonna go a little higher than you actually. I don't mind this bag at all. I think if it's fully broken in, it could be right up there with like a Surefire and stuff. Maybe not quite as slinky, but fuller. So I tend to like those more. Give me a 74.
All right.
All right.
Then we got the last bag, the
Skaters.
Skaters. So it'd be interesting to see what you say about this design score, but we'll get there. All right, so you have a linen type bag. All right, so it's a linen on the slow side. Then on the fast side, it's kind of game changery, but it's not quite the
It
same.
feels stiffer than Game Changer.
Yeah, it's not quite the same. It's similar. There's other bags out there that have used it. It plays like an 8.
Yeah, I mean the
it-
weave's pretty close, but yeah, it's
it
not
breaks in. It breaks in pretty quick. I mean, so does linen. So all in all, plays pretty well.
Yeah.
I think it's a smart pairing of speeds.
He's got a nice
going
progression of speeds. Yeah.
Correct. Going from something super slow to a control bag to something that's a little bit faster. Now he has a 6 on the linen side. It does move up the boards. Again, my boards are super fast, but we know with linen, if it starts to get tacky, this stuff just does not want to move up the boards anymore. So again, there's going to be a little bit of a range there. The template again is pretty squared, slightly rounded corners. I would say in general a medium-sized template. It's not overly large. It's not small. It's kind of like just meets all the specs all the way around. Same fill, medium fill, full bag. Like all these bags are kind of that medium fullness, not like too floppy. I almost wish that maybe you flop this one up just a little bit more, just with what the style of bag it is. But all in all, I threw this one well. I'm not a huge fan of the design, but performance wise, it's pretty well.
What's your design score, Sean?
Design score, I'm gonna go pretty low. Again, I'm just not. I get it. I think that there's more to be said that you could do with the name of this bag, than just throwing rollerblades and skates.
How dare you?
All right, I want to hear what you say. I'm gonna go with 50.
All right. Roller skaters are the original skaters, all right, not skateboarders. So I'm gonna give them a nod for going that route. I used to rock the blades myself back in the day.
Dane, how do you tell your parents that you're gay?
You tell them that you rollerblade?
Yes.
Well, I don't anymore because it's not built for a man of my stature, if you will. But yeah, give me an 85 on that design score. I've got the tie-dye in the background, homage to the OG skaters. I respect it.
What about the performance?
Performance, I'm not going to go that high. It's a little fast for me. And I just, dude, linen's like one of my kryptonites. I just never throw it well. It feels like it gets caught up on my hand.
I feel like you and the victory just had a bad, had a bad go, and
because I had
it was a bad divorce.
I had one great night with it,
Yeah.
and then it never played the same for me.
It was
again,
an ugly divorce, folks.
Give me like a 63 for the performance on that one.
I'm not going that much higher. I mean, it's nice. It's okay. And again, I'm not knocking anybody. I'm not knocking the bags. It's just I wasn't a huge fan of like the fill of it. I mean, I think I probably threw this or the Code Breaker about the same. So I'm gonna go right around there. I'm gonna go with this one. I'm gonna go with a 64.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's too much heat for me. I just remember it was scooting off the board.
I think there's just other like if you gave me these two materials, like I'm gonna gravitate more towards like a Carnage.
Yeah.
You know what
I
mean?
almost
like
wish
this is very similar to like a Carnage bag. It's just the linen's a little bit different. I would prefer a Carnage over like the skaters.
Yeah.
So I've tried to keep that in account.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, Dane, go ahead and cue that
up. Cued it.
Reach us at Instagram and Twitter at BigAsp Cornhole.
And Facebook at BigAsp Cornhole Podcast. Thanks again to our sponsors. Visit airwolfathletics.com for all your cornhole swag. Be sure to use code BIGASP for 10% off. And localbagcompany.com for the best bags in the business.
Bagsboard.com for the sexiest backpacks and patches in the game. And remember, folks, don't be sad by your ugly-looking bag in your hand. Go to blackjackcornhole.com and grab a great set of looking bags. Code BIGASP is going to save you 10%. All right, Patreon. All right, we've been talking about this for like the last 3-4 months. If you haven't checked it out, check us out. All right, Patreon is www.patreon.com/BigAspCornhole. And if you go to our Facebook page, I have a pinned post up there about a Patreon account. What is Patreon? It's a community. It's of people who like our content, and we post exclusive content. It's an easy way to get a hold of us. We have, we post stuff there. We have conversations back and forth. We've had Zoom calls, which have been a fucking blast whenever we have them.
Yeah.
We call them Zoom happy hours. People call in. We shoot the shit before an episode or on a Friday night when our wives are gone, and we go all hours of the night and we talk about everything. Any insider information, I spill it. We give tons of bags away. I think so far we've given a total of 16 series of bags away. We're giving away 3 more sets tomorrow. I'm pulling names. And then the part that I'm most excited about, because to me, the Patreon site is supposed to be about us, you guys paying us because you like our content. And I want to make sure that you guys are getting what you pay for. All right. So when Mr. DK was up here, he's a businessman. We sat down, we talked a little bit, like how can we work out an agreement between us where help us help you, right? So we raved about his lessons. I have nothing but good things to say about it. If you've been on the fence for doing the lessons, you 100% should just do
100%.
it. I'm telling you, you'll have an outstanding.
I don't know why this picture's still up.
Oh yeah, and make sure the DK way is you're following it on Facebook. Contact him about pricing information. But for our Patreon members, because we love you all, our $10 and $20 members are going to be eligible to see training videos twice a month. $10 a month members are going to be able to see the first video of the month, and then our $20 members, you're going to have access to everything. These are training videos as if DK was giving you a virtual lesson. So let's say I'm on the fence. I don't know if I can afford that much money to go pay for DK to come here or go a virtual lesson. But you want to get a little taste of what it might be like.
Just a taste.
Again, as like all right, well, if all right, I like his videos, like his teaching style. This is going to be for me. Make it a little. You're more reassured.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, join our Patreon account. We're going to be dropping 2 videos a month over the next year of different training videos. People that are in our $20 a month category. Not only are you going to get to see both of the videos, but you're also going to have an opportunity in the future where you're going to recommend topics and video ideas straight to DK so that he can make a video just for that community. I'm super excited about it. Derrick's really excited about it. We talked about it today. We're going to have our first video up beginning of next week.
Awesome.
So I'm listen, I know it's April. I know it's like halfway through April already. We're still putting up 2 videos this month, all right? You guys have supported us. The least we can do is we're always trying to make ourselves better, and we're trying to grow what we're doing here. So why not take the money that we've invested and then invest it right back into giving you guys content? And that's what I think we're doing.
Absolutely. And we always love to shout out the Patreon members that invested in us.
Yeah.
So the newest members of our community. Mr. Blaine Leitner, John Clark,
The legend.
I always see his name and I can never pronounce it, but I'm going to try it. Zdanko Sulik.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
That's how it is. And then Cody Sonnenberg. So all of you folks, thank you very much. We appreciate it. If you guys ever have a question, reach out on Patreon.
So again, if you're listening to this and you're like, well, how do I even check it out? It's www.patreon.com. It is linked to our Instagram page. You can find it on our Facebook page. You just click on there, and it's going to give you 3 options. You have a $5, $10, or $20 a month option. Again, if you join up for the $10 a month option, you're entered every month for the back giveaway for one time. You can do these Zoom happy hours, and then you're going to get 1 video a month from Derrick King. Pretty fucking awesome. $20 a month, you get all the above, but you get 2 times the entries in the bag review. You get twice the amount of video content from DK. We've been working on trying to set you guys up where you guys do a Zoom call directly with the pros after we're interviewing them. So a bunch of cool different stuff. So if you haven't checked it out, again, that's patreon.com/BigAsp Cornhole. We would greatly appreciate your support.
1,000%.
Going off of that, be sure to check out the newly revamped Hard Drag Push website. I've been busting my nutsack off, all right, the last 2 months. Revamping this website, creating a new page, building a team of content creators, which I think is so fucking huge, okay? We put together a team of content creators so that Hard Drag Push is not going to just be me posting an article, Brennan posting an article once every 2 months. We're looking to have weekly to daily content coming out of Hard Drag Push. We want people to think of Hard Drag Push and Cornhole content as the place to go for blogs, for Cornhole betting information, eventually information on bags, podcasts, everything. Anything you think Cornhole.
Betting again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because one more state popped up.
Yep, Louisiana. We're up to 11 states.
Louisiana.
So again, we want you to think of Hard Drag Push and Cornhole content as synonymous. So I want to give a quick shout out to the team members of Hard Drag Push.
Absolutely.
All right, so we have the first one I got to give a shout out is one of the guys that he's been doing stuff a lot for us behind the scenes already. His name is Andrew Rideout. He's actually he's written several articles for us. So Andrew Rideout, big shout out. Nick Courier. This dude he's written an article or 2. I really like his style of writing. Him and I are actually collaborating on a relatively big, kind of cool project that we're calling Beyond the Bags, where we're going and we're interviewing not necessarily like the biggest cornhole bag manufacturers, but the guys that are starting to make a name for themselves and giving it more of like kind of like a Rolling Stones type feel of an interview where we're not just like asking the fluff questions, but we're kind of digging into it a little bit, getting to know them a little more. So we're collaborating on that. Donnie the Voice McPhee, obviously. Listen, Donnie, we love you. He's going to be doing more video content. He already wrote an article last week, so he's going to be busting out content. You have Gen Z, okay? Gen Z is awesome. Her first article is going to be coming out on Thursday this week, so shout out to Gen Z. You have, obviously, Cameron. Cameron, He's gonna be doing some stuff for Hard Rock Push. He's gonna be helping me with the sports betting page, but he's also our third wheel on the Shuck It or Chuck It podcast. Then you have Suzanne. Suzanne just wrote a killer article about Spencer McKenzie's tournament that's getting great traction. I love all the comments, and we want to be able to interact with you guys. So by all means, if you read an article, read a blog, drop some comments, let us know what you're thinking about our content, and we're really happy to kind of keep bringing you guys like steady stuff.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
And then one last little shout out of the day. We mentioned it last week. Our boy, Brennan Ahern, formerly of the Dogcast, started a new podcast called Pulling the Cork. Dude, it's
Give it a listen.
Good.
It's good. I enjoy it.
Dude, I really enjoy it. It's a good it's an easy listen to kind of thing. Like if you enjoyed like the banter side of Dogcast, you still have to get used to like knowing the characters obviously, but like it's basically them shooting the shit, telling some story. I mean, it's really good stuff. So hey, Brennan, hats off. I've been a big listener. I've listened to every episode so far. I think they just released the third episode I think today.
Yeah, I have not listened to that one, but I heard the first two.
So check it out. It's on, I think it's on Apple, Spotify, all that stuff. He's on Instagram. So again, it's Pulling the Cork. Make sure you check it out. I think that's it.
We all set?
Yep. All right. So stay tuned as we're going to be joined by Mr. BagDaddy himself, Jordan Stephenson, and one of his sponsored players, former ACL pro, Grant Upchurch.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Should be a good one.
As always, we hope you throw it straight, and it's nothing but four baggers from here on out.
Cornhole it.
Later.
And this interview is brought to you by our friends at Cornhole Solutions. Do you have a question? Find your answer at cornholesolutions.com for the best boards in the business. I see it every week. You go to addictedcornhole.com, somebody's like, here's the best company to get boards. Use code BigAsp and check out cornholesolutions.com. Save yourself 10% and snag the best boards in the game.
Welcome back to the BigAsp Cornhole podcast. We are now joined by Mr. BagDaddy himself, Jordan Stephenson, and former ACL pro Grant Upchurch. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us.
It's good to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. Now, Jordan, we were joking before. You should be a veteran of the show. This is your second time on. If you listen to the mess of an episode that was the World Championships last year, Jordan was wedged in there amongst several other conversations. I don't necessarily recall all of the conversation,
The conversation
that we had.
was fleeting.
So we're gonna kind of just roll right off the bat here. You've been involved in the game of cornhole off and on for quite a while, right? Like you were not just you weren't always just bags, right?
Right. Yeah. Started out just boards once upon a time. And never did bags. My mom made bags for me back in the corn duck cloth suede corn days before the bags are what they are now. But yeah, that was just kind of a thing to complement the boards. The name's always been BagDaddys, but we never did bags until a couple of years ago.
Okay. So what was with the transition to go from boards to bags?
So it was boards and then it was nothing for about 3 years. When I was doing the boards, I was still working a day job, traveling all corners of the country, and the boards were just a thing to keep me busy, and it ended up keeping me real busy, but not busy enough to quit the day job.
Yeah.
So I tried to manage both of them as much as I could, and I finally got burnt out after about 3 or 4 years. And my door's creeping open.
It's okay.
What's up? You're fine. Just put it on the counter. Sorry.
It's not the first time people have been interrupted.
They'll,
It won't be the last.
They'll probably be in and out. But yeah, so it got to a point where I got burnt out and had to hang up the board making and focus on the real job. So overnight, BagDaddys went away. The website went away, emails went away, phone numbers changed just at the drop of a dime.
So if you're still looking for your BagDaddy cornhole board, maybe you just never got the email. Right? It's
Right.
not on him. Not on him.
True.
It's coming any day now.
Yeah, so that lasted for my cornhole hiatus lasted for about 2.5, 3 years. I was still involved with cornhole playing. I had my ear to the street on what was going on and saw the bag thing taking off. And one thing led to another at home, which lended itself to me kind of dipping my toes in the bag game, and went out, bought a sewing machine and a little bit of heat press and a printer, and started going. That was right when COVID started. Actually, I think like the week before the world shut down in 2020 is when I bought that first sewing machine. So
one of your bags caused me to say something that is now on one of our jerseys. Holy monkey shit. All right, it's the Holy Monkey Shit bag. It was early on. I want to say you were within the first 10 bags like we ever reviewed. And at the time, we were pretty enamored with Kill Shot 357, right? It was that player's material, something that like was different than everything else that was out there. And then
it wasn't Reynolds Pro Advantage.
No, and then you had the 5.0, which I don't even know if that was your most popular bag. I'm assuming the 3.0 was probably more popular. But I remember I had the 5.0, and I'm like, dude, this is different than what's out there. And I loved it. And I thought it played great. Took about a year to break in, but once it broke in, the thing was still, I mean, we still have them.
Yeah.
And we still bust them out, you know, backyard parties, stuff like that. But that was, I always liked what you were coming out with because it wasn't the same old shit. And even now today, when it is very much a copycat market, you're doing a good job at kind of mixing everything up. And the one thing I don't think you get credit for is you were the first one to use a certain carpet that is really popular today. So I know whenever we go through it, we are for sure.
Always
it's
BagDaddy carpet.
We always say it's crossover. You know, like it's the first bag that we ever threw that had that type of carpet. So we always try to get homage. Is it always been important for you to use unique materials, like kind of separate yourself a little bit?
Yeah, I kind of went into it just saying that I was going to at least try and do things different from a bag specific standpoint, just because I'm not interested in doing the same exact thing that somebody else is doing. I've always had the standpoint that those guys worked hard to get the product that they have, and I didn't want to step on toes. I wanted to do my own thing. I wanted to work hard to get my own.
No, I mean, I think it's important. I think early on, it was like you and probably Billy Webb from NOLA were the only ones that we found early on that were like using unique, different materials that you weren't going to find on any other bag. Right. Fast forward now, the market's completely changed, 2 years from, that time. Yeah. How, like coming from a bag maker side of it, how much has it really changed? Like how much harder is it to compete in this market that seems like it's flooded right now? I mean, there's just so many options out there.
Yeah, it's a multi. Yeah, we can talk about that for 10 days, but it's harder. The change that I've seen is that a year ago, even 6 months ago, probably a year and a half ago, it was really easy. Like you didn't have to market, right? If you were just in the right groups on Facebook, you could drop a new bag and say, "Hey, I'm BagDaddys. Here's a new bag," and people would just buy it.
Yeah.
Not to the extent that Kill Shot, the Kill Shot effect, but you didn't really have to. You just had to throw stuff out there on Facebook, and you'd sell bags. So you didn't really have to focus on the business, the mundane business stuff, the marketing and all that stuff. In a matter of 6 to 12 months, that's changed. It's become. I don't know if flooded's the right word, but it's flooded. Like there's 100 of us doing what we're doing, and people are buying bags now based off of brand rather than performance or just being something new, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it had to have helped a little bit that you were early in the game, so you were able to build somewhat of a following kind of thing, which obviously has to help a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I wish I would have been about 6 months earlier, but I was still early enough. Which when I say that, there's still probably large portions of the country, the cornhole community, who still don't know BagDaddys. Yeah. And like I said, that's not anybody's fault but my own and Grant's.
Damn it, Grant. Now, in all seriousness, how many times have you been asked if you had any carnage available? Because your name and Big Daddy, they always get crisscrossed. You get that message a lot?
It hasn't happened for about 3 months.
That's good.
But there was a period of time where it seemed like it was happening daily. Here's to an extent, one of our fabric suppliers I ordered a couple rolls of fabric probably 6 months ago, and actually no, it was the other way around. He ordered a couple rolls of fabric. I got a bill for it
No
because
shit.
our names are so similar. There's one letter different.
Did you pay it off
Right.
for him in good faith?
No, I did not.
Doug, you almost got a freebie. Almost got one.
Yeah, and I don't even know if he knew that happened because I got the invoice for it, and I promptly called the supplier and said, "Hey, that's not me."
Are we gonna ever see the Big Daddy versus BagDaddy like match? I want to see you boys face off.
It would be awesome if I would ever get out of my hole and actually play cornhole. I might get the opportunity to do that.
But you have a son who's been playing pretty well recently, right?
Yeah, he's when he's not playing basketball, he's throwing bags, and
Okay.
if he ever gets the attention span for it, he'll be good.
Nice.
He's got this natural, flat, long, smooth flowing bag throw that it makes me sick.
Pisses you off a little bit, right?
Yeah, a lot.
And just for the record, for the people at home, Grant's not your child, right?
Sometimes. not biological.
You're just his BagDaddy, all right?
Yeah.
He's not even a dad, and he has like the worst dad jokes. Like, it's ridiculous.
I thought that was spot on.
So terrible.
Right off the old cuff there.
So
Beautiful.
Grant, last year ACL Pro, you had a solid season. You won an open event.
It was 2 seasons ago.
Or 2 seasons ago. This year, you're not an ACL Pro. What all went into that decision of why did you step away from that, and not decide to kind of go back?
So 2 seasons ago, like you said, I had a pretty successful season, but overall, I honestly did not enjoy my experience as an ACL Pro.
Okay.
Even with being on TV, winning the event, and all that, it was just brutal going to those events, and the environment was just boring. The players that thought they were too good to talk to everybody else, the clickiness, I just didn't enjoy it. It wasn't fun.
Okay.
And so the next year, Texas Cornhole League, which is this past year, offered me a job, and I was still going to be a pro. I was still going to go out and do the events, but they offered me a job, and I said yes because I just got laid off because of COVID. And I was like, well, this is an opportunity to work on stuff I love and still get to play and everything. And then also give me the schedule flexibility to go out to those events for ACL. Well, then ACL caught wind that I took a job with TCL, and they said, well, you have to choose. Do you want to be an ACL pro or do you want to have that job? And I told them I'm going to take the job. And that was the end of my ACL career last year. And then me and Trey had a good conversation, and he said the door's open, but I just can't do those two things at the same time.
Which I don't understand. Like, if I don't know. I guess they should have no say of what you do professionally.
They viewed it as me working for their competition, like a conflict of interest, I guess. It's very easy for me to sit here and say that it was unfair. And do I feel like it was unfair? Yes. But at the same time, I guess business is business, and they got to make decisions like that. So,
I don't know. Like,
It sounds to me like they're just
but here's my thing is, like, is the TCL really their competition? I mean, it's so and don't get me wrong, I know the TCL is big, but it's regional. I mean, they're only in what, Texas and Oklahoma?
Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, New Mexico.
Okay.
So they have no interest. TCL has no interest in expanding beyond that either. They just wanted to focus on they dominate this area, period, in the story. We have a ton of players, and I guess I know the owners of TCL and ACL didn't really get along, so it was just easy for them to say, okay, we have a way of getting at them. Let's get at them. So they decided to tell me I can't be a pro anymore.
Okay. So is being a pro ever on your radar again? Or was your previous experience enough to, like, say, just kind of sway you away from it?
It's an option for me. I'm still really debating. I've played in some opens and stuff this season, and thought about trying to go back and being a pro again, but all I can think about was my first experience being a pro, and I really don't want to do that again.
I haven't given you my sales pitch yet.
Please.
I don't know. The only reason I think I'd put myself in a position to be a pro again is honestly to help with the BagDaddy brand, pushing that brand. He does work really hard and gives me a lot of really good opportunities. So I like to try to get his name out there as best I can.
Yeah.
But at the same time, man, I just really did not enjoy that first year being a pro. I
For the
understand
record,
the payouts are going up. I understand all that, but it's
Yeah.
just I don't think it's worth it yet for me to get back.
Yeah, I was
into
gonna
it.
say, I could get it completely.
yeah,
I mean,
but you
obviously
also
it's
went to
your
an
life.
event that we weren't at. So I mean, if you go now,
Yeah, that's
you got buddies.
It's true.
We'd hang out with you,
I mean,
no matter how weird you are.
it's obviously it's a tough situation. And TCL does very well. I mean, I love watching their events. I think they look like they're fun. I mean, the main courts, they do a great job where you have crowds around. Like it looks like it's a more of like maybe like a family atmosphere. But there's something to be said about, I mean, you want to go if you want to be, I guess it really comes down to what you want out of it. Like, do you want to be considered one of the best players? If you want to be one of the best players, you got to go where the rest of the best players are, right? Not just in a few states.
Right. So I can't see myself ever picking ACL over TCL if one of them were to make me choose only their events.
Yeah.
To me, TCL's environment is unmatched. Their events are unmatched. I mean, if you want to go have fun at a cornhole event, you go to a TCL event.
That's what I keep hearing. I got to make it down.
You do, because I think if you really saw a TCL event and it's like this past weekend in Shreveport, you would wonder what ACL is doing wrong. I mean, it's unreal.
I mean, it's one of those things. Like I see the live streams of it, and it looks fun. Like the finals matches are there. I mean, no one goes home. You know what I mean? Like there are a lot of people, and I mean, it's loud, and there's some shit talking, which I love, and you know what I mean? Like it feels more of like a backyard event. You know what I mean? Like kind of thing, which I kind of love. But I thought it was interesting because obviously you're someone that wasn't just like barely qualifying. I mean, you had success already on the circuit, and you made the conscious effort to step away. So I wanted to find out why more selfishly, really what it was.
Right. No, I mean, I've had a lot of people ask me about it. And I think a lot of people have tried to get me just to say negative things about one or the other. And it's just, I don't have any negative feelings towards ACL at all. It's just, I made a personal decision for me.
But you're allowed to, I mean, you're allowed to have like a negative experience. You know what I mean? Like you can say that your personal experience wasn't the best, not necessarily that you're bashing anybody. I mean, because what you might look at as a negative, there might be 10 people that are like, well, fuck, I love that. Like, I don't want anyone, talking to me. I'm there for straight business, and that's what they want it for. Right. So
Absolutely.
Listen, you can make the argument either way, I kind of think. So that's
Absolutely.
interesting. All right. So you're a BagDaddy sponsored player. What's your bag of choice right now?
I would say the BagDaddy Reject's my favorite bag to throw when I go out to those open events.
Okay. And so what were you throwing before BagDaddy's?
I was throwing the I mean, this is back when the bag was just a different bag, but the Pro Advantage. The Pro X.
So you don't think that, so you're throwing the Reject? Is that what you said?
When for those open events, the boards, they just get slow on me.
Okay.
And I've since 2 years ago, I feel like my game's matured a lot where I don't want a really slow bag to throw with. I don't want a bag that's I have to just chunk it every single time as hard as I can. I'd rather kind of play more of a finesse game and still block and do those kind of things. But with the Reject, it gives me the ability to block without having to sacrifice whole friendliness.
I got you. That's a big part of it. So Jordan, you recently, or I guess not recently, but last few months, you kind of revamped your whole lineup of bags. You changed the fill. What else did you change to kind of make the bags a little bit unique?
So when they changed, the only thing that changed was the fill.
Okay.
I've been talking back and forth with the ACL because I was having trouble getting a consistent supply of what I was using.
Okay.
Back and forth with them for a couple months, and one day out of the blue, they sent an email to everybody because apparently I wasn't the only one having issues. Supply chains have gone cuckoo in the last 18 months. But I wasn't the only one. So they offered everybody a one-time opportunity to make any changes in regards to fill or fabrics that we needed to. They didn't tell us what we could or couldn't do. We just did what we thought we needed to do, basically resubmit the bags and get them to approve it. We couldn't change the template, and the bag had to be somewhat similar in thickness, just the general characteristics that it had previously.
Okay.
But yeah, so I changed the fill. And basically, I mean, it changed those bags from a play standpoint pretty much across the board.
Okay.
The biggest complaint that I got with the old fill is that once the bags broke in, they were hard to hold. It felt like the fill would squeeze out of your hands.
Okay.
And that was just the biggest complaint I got. This new fill eliminated that, and it actually allows the bags to break in better.
I mean, it feels like a blend, like some sort of like a blended fill. It's non-universal, but it's like kind of a medium size. Like it's not super small. I mean, it has a nice feel to it. I like how it plays, and it kind of takes a little bit of the bounce out of the bag, a little bit, which I think is a good thing because the carpet itself can already cut like a motherfucker. So I think you want to take a little bit of that.
Yeah, so the biggest positive feedback I had on the old fill was that it didn't matter what the bag was, it generally just didn't kick, with the exception of the crossover, because that is what it is. So, and I think I still kept that characteristic with this new fill.
So you have a crossover, but then you also have the crossover 2.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm a consumer, I'm interested in trying a BagDaddy, I like carpet. What are the primary differences between the two?
The crossover, both bags have the same carpet. The crossover 2 has a little bit smaller template, basically just a little bit more rounded corners and a faster fast side.
I love it. I love the slick side of this bag.
Yeah. You like it, Grant?
Yeah, I like it when I need it.
Very, very fast. That
fast.
fabric, so that fast side is on the 3 new bags, the teardrop, triple threat, and reject all have the same fast side.
Oh yeah.
That stuff it tends to hold its speed regardless of board conditions.
My boards at home are fast shit, and this is like if I'm a pussy and I don't make it all the way to the hole, these are not staying on the board like that. I mean, they're fast. I mean, it's like it's these are not meant to like. This is shit. You're trying to go through shit. You're trying to push through stuff for this stuff.
Yeah,
it's a great. It's nice. It's super hole friendly though. Breaks in really, really quick. I mean, it's not a whole lot to it. And the reason I like your this style carpet is it breaks in so fast. Like that carpet really does. Like it becomes like playable after just a few rounds of throwing. I mean, it's nice.
Well, I mean, your OG crossover was near and dear to my heart. I threw that thing. That was my first set of bags I ever blew open.
Yeah.
So you should feel honored by that. But then once I got the crossover too, man, it's a good fucking. I love it, man. It's a great follow up. It's like you said, that fast side. I like that it doesn't really have that variability. Because especially here in Cleveland, man, I mean, we go from 0 humidity to 100% in like 3 hours. I mean, it can change drastically. So it's great to have a fast side that you can trust it's going to stay true.
I do have to say I agree with Grant though. I think the best, in my opinion, my favorite of your has been the reject. I tend to like a little bit of faster bags, and it's weird because when I go play on my boards at home, again, they're super fast. So I try to not worry about that. I tend to try to throw against the wind just to kind of give me a little bit more of a feel of how the board's going to play. Can we go to regionals and these boards are so fucking slow? I mean, you need something that's going to get through it. And the reject really reacts well. Like in slow conditions, it's a money bag that, again, Grant kind of put it perfectly. You have all the playability, but you're not giving up hole friendliness at all, which is really nice.
Yeah, that bag was actually born at Worlds last year.
Was it really?
I had a.
You didn't even look pregnant.
I had the prototype set with me. I couldn't for the life of me figure out why my guys that were just absolutely in love with throwing the crossover only threw the crossover for like 6 months. And then all of a sudden they couldn't throw it anymore. Yeah. And it drove me crazy. So I went to Worlds and threw the crossover on those boards out there and quickly understood why.
Yeah.
Because the boards were just unbelievably slow. And
I think we played a doubles match and you actually used the reject against us.
Yeah, that was that's where it all started. So
Clearly didn't drink enough beer.
Yeah.
I don't remember that shit at all.
No, I just remember he had a prototype. I do remember throwing it down there. So I mean, I like your new fill. I like the fact that it's non-universal. I think it just fits in your hand well when it grip. You know what I mean? Like there's no shifting around. It all just kind of feels like it just kind of uniformly fits right in your grip, however you want it, whether you're butterfly grip, you do more of the underhand, really kind of grip it. So but I like the changes that you made to the bag so far.
Yeah, definitely. I was just trying to find something that still didn't kick real bad that you could actually hold on to.
Yeah.
I don't play enough to realize or notice the subtle differences that somebody like Grant would notice. And it took me a little while to come to the realization that you just can't hold on to that old feel. Like you need to be able to sometimes grip the bag.
So you sponsor several players, whether they're ACL, TCL, whatever.
Right.
When you're trying to decide, okay, I'm going to sign somebody, right? What are you looking for? Like, what are you hoping to get out of a sponsored player?
I mean, you've got your normal run of the mill stuff, visibility, social media, visibility, somebody who's enthusiastic about the brand itself.
Yeah.
Being part of a team. I've always wanted to keep it small. I never wanted to blow the doors off and carry like 60 people because I want to be able to at least try and take care of the players that I have on board. And just somebody who sees that and understands it, not somebody who's just looking for a paycheck. And other than that, I think one of the other things that I kind of look for is, so a bunch of my guys have brands. So I say a bunch, but a bunch of my guys have brands that they're associated. They have their own brands. Steve Windling, Rockstar Cornhole, Bobby Fink, Ghost Cornhole. Yeah. Things like that. There's advantages there both ways by them being partnered up with a bag company who's willing to service their needs in that regard, and then obviously benefits on my end from them just going out and building their own brand and bringing BagDaddys along with it.
Yeah, we had met Bobby Fink before. He'd been on the show earlier, but then we actually got to meet Stephen Wendling at the Kansas City Open. We stopped him. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you're a BagDaddy sponsor guy. I want to make sure. So we talked for a second, and then we ended up talking for quite a minute because he was filling us in on, like, I think he played Adam Hissner on the first ever like live broadcasted cornhole event that he beat him or something like that. We're going back and forth, but he knows Adam really well, and him and Adam used to partner up early on. So he's like an OG of cornhole.
Yeah, that was, I don't know all the details, but that was out in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
2009 maybe. I was actually in Las Vegas when that happened.
I think Adam still had hair. Like it's
okay.
Like it was
You're aging us all now, Sean. Come on now.
Grant knows Adam.
Yeah, him and I had a nice little match, didn't we?
The Cincinnati Open, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Hissner knocked Grant out. Grant, he had like a 20-16 lead on him for 5 frames in a row.
Okay. Wait, so were you at the Cincinnati Open was it this year?
Yeah.
Oh, damn, yes. I wish we were there. Yeah. I wish I would have known. Yeah, we were there this year.
I'm pretty quiet when I show up places.
I mean, we're not. But
yeah, we can bring out the worst.
Yeah.
No worries.
Great. So, Grant, obviously you're a player, good caliber. Again, you're real involved in TCL. Why go with why BagDaddys? Like, what do you like that Jordan offers? Like, what do you like about the company? All that stuff.
I've never been one to just chase money right off the bat. I kind of want to grow with somebody. And I don't know if he told you how we met, but he showed up to a random draw over here in Texas that Jerry Shaw was running, and it was just randomly. He shows up, I show up. It was his first cornhole event, being back in cornhole, and I don't know how long, and we ended up being partners. And I walk up to him, hey, what you want to throw? He said, well, I don't have anything, but I got he said, I don't have anything. I just made, these bags. I was like, okay, let me see them. It was his 1.0s.
Okay.
Yep, those. And
that's it.
and Suede on one side. I can't remember what was on the other side.
Crossover fast side.
Right. Okay. So we ended up throwing those, and we ended up winning the random draw against some game changers in the championship.
Okay.
And he let me keep all the bags afterwards, was real talking to me, and there was a real connection there. I really enjoyed talking to him and playing with him, and then it just made me kind of stick with BagDaddys. He just always asked my opinion about the bags, tweaking it, whatever it was, and I just felt like I was involved in something, and that's what made me want to go with him over these other bag manufacturers where my opinion isn't really that important to them.
I got you. Jordan, so obviously you're like in TCL country, right? Like you're smack dab in the middle of it. Like there's tons of area. What did you think of the whole, I guess we'll say ACL policy caveat where maybe it wasn't noticed in the beginning, but then or maybe hypothetically air quotes changed where every series of bags that you were releasing had to be stamped. What were your thoughts on that? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
I mean, I get it. I get it. I know it's just business, and TCL and ACL had their thing. I wasn't around when the rift happened. I don't know all the details, but I know there was some agreeing to disagree amongst both parties, and it is what it is. TCL can do things the way they want. ACL can do things the way they want. And basically, I think I've come out and said it on a couple times on y'all's platforms on Facebook, just in comments. And I've said it to ACL directly. Like, it kind of is what it is. If you choose to go the ACL route, you choose to go the ACL route, and you don't get to bitch and moan about it, right? Whether right, wrong, or indifferent, they set the rules. You either play by the rules or you don't. I think having to have all bags stamped, like I said, I know why he's doing it. Doesn't necessarily mean that I agree with it or not. It's just,
I get it. You're trying to be political. I get it.
Be political.
It's a unique situation
It is.
because I could go knock on the college bookstore that's across the street from my house and say, hey, they sell cornhole boards. Let's do some business. I make bags, right? Stacy's ACL's they're not trying to stop that. I think here's the deal. ACL understands that there's an entire market that isn't being touched by their platform. There's 1 million people that play cornhole in their backyards, cornhole at tailgates, that ACL doesn't touch. They're not dummies. They understand that. And they know that market's there.
Yeah.
And they know at some point in time, we're going to go get it. Right. And he's just trying to capitalize on it, which, it is what it is. It's business.
Do you think that?
I think ACL came to the same realization that TCL did, and the only way for ACL, TCL, ACO, whoever to truly make money, it's off the bags. There's no amount of events, there's no amount of sponsorships that can replace that bag money that they're getting now.
I mean, the TCLs. Listen, if we want to go down to it, the TCL started the bag craze. If you're a diehard bag honk like me, like the TCL were the bags that you wanted to get, not because like they looked the coolest, but because they were the hardest to get. I mean, how they sold bags there, it was so difficult to hand. I mean, I can't tell you how many times like I've had TCL bags that I don't keep them in my hand for more than a week because a TCL player is looking for them because they need those bags to throw.
Right.
I mean, listen, I mean, it's no secret, WTF. I mean, they're throwing stones. Their bags are people think that like X-Ray or, the Tango, all that stuff's popular. You go to TCL and if you get your hands on a Kraken or any of those types of bags, I mean, that's like fucking gold in your hand because there's just not that many out there.
Right. TCL is really what drove bag popularity. I mean, to me in the nation, they made the market what it was, and now it's just way.
I mean, you can argue that the ACL kind of was copying TCL's model of how everything works. Like we have these approved series of bags that you must buy, and if you don't have it, you don't get to play in our events. The ACL is just doing it on a larger scale, kind of thing.
Right.
I think that's. I mean, you can. I mean, it's not, you can't argue. I mean, it's pretty clear the TCL did it first. I'm not saying that you can't borrow an idea or think like, obviously they liked it the way it was working. Yeah, I mean, if they're going to implement it,
Oh, yeah. I mean, ACL's smart. They know what they're doing, and they know where the ideas originally came from. And there's nothing wrong with that. Business is business. But it's just, I wish that ACL was more open to these other leagues, and not so dead set on it's our way or we're going to try to crush you. I'm not a big fan of that. I don't like how, since they can't control TCL, they want to try to crush TCL. And it's just not going to happen. Not in Texas.
So are you going to go, now you're not an ACL member right now. Are you going to go to that high rollers tournament, win $40,000?
No, I'm not going to go out there.
I tried to tell him I'd pay for him. He never even let me get to the point.
Why, let me ask you, why wouldn't you?
I guess I never really got into it and looked into it hard enough, but Jordan did try to push me on it.
Dude, if nothing
really,
else, to me, listen, the way I look at it, it's a company investment. I mean, like Jordan can be putting up $5,000. If you go in, you and your partner win, it's $40,000. He's making his money back plus some. You guys are all walking away a big happy family. He throws 2 teams in there. It's limited to 16 teams. And there's still spots though. I mean, to me, it's like a business opportunity for you want to make a name for yourself. Fuck.
I mean, to me, like outside of the ACL right now,
I'm trying to convince
ACL pros can't get into it.
I'm trying to convince 2 of our better players here that aren't pros. I'm like, why aren't you guys going out to Vegas? Like, I think you have a legit shot of winning this because there's no ACL pros. Yeah, you're gonna have some ACO guys and maybe some TCL guys, but like you can compete with ACL guys here. There's no reason you couldn't go out there to take a gamble, find a sponsor, and tell them like, hey, if I win, you're gonna get your money plus 10% or 20% of what we win. I mean, it's an easy way to do it. I really think. I mean, it's a gamble, but I think it's worth it. I mean, I don't know what the fuck you're thinking.
Yeah,
about.
someone with your pedigree. I mean, that's to me, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, if we were halfway decent, we'd be fucking going out there.
Yeah,
$5,000.
We're not, so we're not going out.
We're
We're seeing if they want us to hop on the mics because we're only halfway decent at that.
So Jordan, I wanted to ask you, what do you think is going to come first? Because something's got to give. Do you think the ACL is going to limit the amount of like allowed bag makers that can submit series, or do you think that it's just going to become more expensive to submit bags?
I think the way that I see it, and this is just my speculation, I think that's one and the same.
You think they're going to do both?
I think short term price, it's going to continue to get more expensive.
Yeah.
To get the initial license, and the sales requirements throughout the season that you're licensed are going to get higher and higher. Right now, for this season, I think it's a month $5,000 royalty that we have to meet through the season in bag sales in order to qualify to be licensed next season. I could see that number doubling or even more for next season.
Yeah.
But I think those are intermediate steps to the long term where it's going to be a select few bags available in tournaments, whether it's bag manufacturers or bags in, is that number four different manufacturers, or is it 20? I don't know. But this is, again, just my speculation. I think in the short term, prices increase to weed out, instead of them just coming out and saying, yeah, we don't want you next season, go away. They're just going to make it harder and harder.
It's a way for them to not make themselves look like a bad guy. You know what I mean? They're like, hey, we're just putting if they don't want to do it, then
they just be like, inflation.
Here's the reality. People are still going to pay it. Especially the new bag manufacturers. It's not easy anymore. Like 6 months ago, it was still even easy. Selling bags right now is not easy unless you're one of the top 5 or 6 guys.
Now, you're also during the season. I think bag manufacturers always benefit in the quote unquote off season of the ACL because people get bored and they start buying shit just to get prepared for the next year. I mean, I feel like there's always an uptick in the summertime. Plus, people go out and throw bags. They hit the mud one time. They're like, gotta get a new set.
Well, who's going to come out with who's going to win the mid-series or the mid-season bag release? Because if you can win that, and that if you have the hot new bag going into next season, then you're setting yourself up for all the off season, everyone that didn't get a chance to get their hands on those bags will be going. And then starting next season, there's gonna be a new hot bag, but someone's gonna win that mid-season bag. You know what I mean? Like it's the most popular, and that's gonna be the one that's gonna make most money in the summer, in my opinion.
It would have been BagDaddys.
It would have been BagDaddys if ACL would just
I heard.
loosened up a little bit.
Look, the corner, they have their template. And again, my fault.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm not blaming anybody, but they have their template that they set the bag on. And I didn't stretch the corners all the way, turning the bag out. So my top 2 corners were tucked in just a little bit. So it didn't meet their minimum or max, their minimum radius or maximum radius on their template. So it got denied, and then I was already past the deadline to get it approved.
So they don't give you like if you get denied, they don't give you like a week to try to fix it and then resubmit.
Well, we were past the deadline already.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah.
It's not like they're testing your fucking bag the next day. I mean, it's not like they still haven't posted those they still haven't posted the numbers for the midseason. I mean, they still haven't done the testing. So you can't tell me that they can't just give you a week to go back, especially if it's something that close. You know what I mean? Like, just seems odd.
Yeah.
No, it's they just didn't want to get another bag in there. They want to make things as difficult as they can be.
How many are on the list? There's like 65, 70 manufacturers.
I mean, I think total series wise, we counted up was it like 215 or something like that?
Manufacturer wise, I think it's 60.
No, I'm just talking about series. Yeah,
I know, but I think it's 62.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think we counted it.
There we're at.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
But
And
you go
there's
down
more
that
that are
list,
ready
I mean, you're not going to recognize 30 of those names.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Some of them are still grandfathered in, and I don't understand why they're still in there. But there's going to be more. There's going to be every year you're going to have some guy who has money to back it, and they're going to try to make a big move. You know what I mean? Like, but who's going to be the next Fire Cornhole? You know what I mean? Like, and listen, they have a different business model than everybody else in Cornhole right now. They're just like. They're like the Reynolds way. Like, we're going to give out bags. We're basically going to give you fucking bags for free. We're just going to keep making them, selling them for 25 cents. You know what I mean? Just get them out the door. I mean, that's one way to do it. Or you can go like Cornhole scenario and release a bag once every 13 months and just charge $12,000 for it. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways to do it, and I think it's unique. I think it's interesting, but
yeah, I'm just curious. I'd love to see behind the scenes, and I'm sure everybody would, what actual numbers are or just bag makers across the.
I mean, I'd be interested. Is that public now? Well, I mean, couldn't that be public
you
knowledge?
pull their tax records. And
I mean, right?
See what they're pulling in.
I mean, I'd be interested.
I've actually asked ACL if they just publish not even numbers, just publish like a
top sellers,
top 10 list, or
why wouldn't they? I think that'd be. Why not?
I mean, we could probably name the top 6 or 7.
You know why they won't do that? Because then you'll just see who's paying.
I think the order. I think the order would be interesting though. You know what I mean? Like, I really do. Like, I think it's tough because like
Well, we're on a podcast. Like, who would your top 5 in your mind be? Both of you guys.
I mean, the same. Kill Shot, Reynolds, Ultra, Fire.
See, I'm already taking Kill Shot off the table.
See, I think it would probably be Ultra, all Cornhole.
But yeah, all Cornhole.
Maybe Reynolds, Lucky
I
Bags.
think Reynolds.
I think you have to put Lucky Bags in there. I don't know if they're
Contraband and then Fire.
Probably Fire would be my 5. Yeah.
I don't even know if BG's in it or not.
Oh, BG's in there. Oh yeah.
You wouldn't see hardly any of those bags out here in Texas right now.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Fire Cornhole bags. You don't see any cat bags. All you really see around here is BG bags and Reynolds bags.
I'll say you see a lot of old school rental bags, I'm sure.
Oh, and then Ultra bags, and that's about it.
Okay. Oh, really? Okay, they can use it. Okay.
Meanwhile, up here in Cleveland, Sean and I are the only ones that have ever thrown WTF.
Yeah. and
BagDaddy. I mean.
And then WTF and BagDaddys in Texas. But other than that, like, you really don't see any Fire Cornhole. You don't see any cat bags, contraband bags.
You guys
see 724 at all down
but like Texas is like its own country. Like, you guys are basically different than everybody.
Look at the
else.
size of the state.
I know,
are
that's
a
what I'm
country.
saying. Like, you guys are just different.
You guys are like 8 Ohios.
Something like that.
Pretty much. Yeah.
All right, so I want to
Yeah,
go through some listener questions that we had. One of my favorite questions was from our Patreon listener. His name's Sean Mullen. He wants to know what type of non-human or like an animal would be best at cornhole. It's a good one.
I mean, that's tough. I would go easy, like a gorilla.
Okay.
Yeah, a gorilla. They're throwing on 50-foot spread boards.
The guy, the reason I respected the question so much is he posted a question, but he actually posted a research article after it, where scientists were studying like animals throwing things, and because somebody made the claim that throwing anything accurately was a distinctly human only trait,
False.
and they were trying to prove. Well, no, it's actually true.
It's false.
They were trying to prove that like who are we closest to? Like monkeys, right? So they tried to watch all these monkey clans if they were throwing stuff, and they could throw it, but they couldn't hit a broadside of a barn. So they do think that somewhere along the evolutionary chain, that's where we got better at throwing stuff.
See, that's assuming that they know what they're aiming at. To me, they're just throwing to throw. Like, screw it. They're not aiming at anything. They just want to throw. I've literally watched my dog pick up a toy and flip it 5 feet into his toy basket repeatedly. He knows what he's doing.
Well, then you go a dog.
I mean, Kip's pretty talented. He's got thick hips like his daddy. So yeah, I'm going with the dog. Have you guys seen Air Bud? Come on now.
I've seen
All
Air
right.
Bud, so I
Seriously.
give you
And then, I mean, not just Air Bud. I mean, we got the whole onslaught of every game, every sport you could ever think of. That golden retriever dominates all of them.
that. Yeah.
All right. So how do we not say dog? If we
That's
put
true.
a cornhole bag in his mouth, he's going to jump halfway there and then flick it up out of his mouth and drop it in every time.
Depends what we're
End of
talking
discussion.
about. Like if we're talking about like any like non-human, like Ninja Turtles might be sweet at cornhole. Could be a
Dude, I don't
turtle.
know, man. Their hands are clunky.
Could be.
Their hands are clunky. You've seen it. I mean,
Yeah.
come on now.
That's true. All right. One of my other favorite questions was actually from founder of Girls Throw 2, Whitney Ingram. She wants to know, would you rather, okay? Would you rather have your parents arrange your marriage, or would you rather be married to your most recent ex?
Oh,
Go ahead, Grant.
Let my parents arrange my marriage.
There you go.
I agree 100%. I'm pretty sure they'd pick my wife. So
Yeah, hopefully they pick the one I'm with.
Holy shit. I was just thinking Dane. I'm like, Dane definitely is not going with his most recent ex.
dodged a bullet.
Yeah, holy shit. Jordan, I'm assuming you're going with your most recent ex.
No. Parents, my parents are cool, so
Yeah.
I would just be afraid that my mom would pick somebody with like a nice personality. You know what I mean? Like, God damn it, mom. You know what we're looking for. Let's not go after personality.
Mom knows what we're looking for over here.
All right, well, there you go.
I
there you go.
believe it.
All right.
Well, I got a good one for Jordan.
Go for it.
You already kind of answered it, but Brendan Ahern wants to know what the jump shot's looking like nowadays. You said your crossover's better. Dad joke. But in all seriousness,
Crossover isn't looking better. This guy's making bags, and he'll randomly show up somewhere wearing an ankle brace. He's got crossover.
hey, carpal tunnel's a real thing, man. All right, when you get older, it just pops up out of nowhere.
That's terrific.
my jump shot is okay as long as I don't have to jump.
No, well,
You don't have to
that
jump
wife
to
would-
shoot a jump shot per se, right?
True.
Just gotta chuck it up.
All right. Justin Cordner wants to know if you had to choose another bag maker's bag to throw with, who are you picking?
You go, Grant.
I feel like that's a setup question for me.
It's
I'll
not.
answer. I'll answer. For
Yeah, both of
Grant.
you guys answer.
Grant's either going to be a PA, a Reynolds, or a. I'll let his cat out of the bag. Nobody knows anything. Doesn't know that Grant loves an all slide.
I do love
But-
it.
Okay. Makes sense why
Dude's
you like a
only ever
reject.
If I never would have found BagDaddys, I'd probably still be throwing Reynolds bags.
Okay. Fair enough. Jordan, what about you?
The last bag I threw.
Loading.
This is like
That's
3
how
years
long ago it's been since I played cornhole.
Jordan, you're not picking contraband?
No, that's
You mean the crossover?
honestly like a Pro X.
Okay, Pro X. Okay. So you like the card,
Reynolds.
but you want something with a little
Yeah,
slick
Reynolds.
side to it that'll actually
A
move.
little faster,
I
a
got
little
you.
looser. I
Yeah.
can't throw I can't throw a bag to save my life.
Were there any other listener questions? I didn't look.
Not really. Brian
Okay.
Brian Shearmeister's was the novel that he wrote there.
So
So
what was it?
it's
About
really
the
long. It's really long.
the paying players.
Yeah.
Based off
Oh, actually, no,
performance.
hold on. There's the one Grant, I did want to ask you this. Nick Courier wants to know, as the ACL adapts to the more standardized 12-inch height on the back of the boards, do you think that this is going to change the bag or game styles in Texas? I was not familiar with this. Do you guys play with like a fucking flatter board or something, or what are you guys doing? over there?
So at some point in time, the TCL board started having an 11-inch incline rather than a 12 like the ACL does.
Okay, so it wasn't quite
so-
as steep. So the bags would actually play faster, I'm assuming.
Correct.
Okay.
So they just recently switched over to X Factor boards, and now they're at the correct 12-inch incline. So
Okay.
the boards are a lot slower at these at the Signature Series, the big events, because that's what all the boards are, is the X Factor ones.
Okay.
So you see a lot of people starting to want something a little bit slicker,
Okay.
something that kicks a little less, because with that incline on there a little bit more, people that don't have as flat of a bag are starting to notice their bags kicking a lot more. So they
Okay.
want something slicker.
Interesting. So do they have like one uniformed board maker before this that just happened to
Yes.
have only 11-inch incline?
Right. For
then?
whatever
Okay.
reason, that incline was at 11 inches. And it's just one of those things when you get the boards, you don't even notice it. You know, it doesn't even go through
Okay.
your mind.
Yeah, this
And-
I had no idea. I mean, Nick, hats off to you for
Yeah,
like knowing
did
that.
not know
I would
that.
have no fucking
right.
clue.
So everyone when they came to Texas and played on TCL boards, like, man, these boards are just faster. And it's like, well, it's because they're just not steep.
Okay. All right, that makes sense.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Dane's gonna ask you guys some fun random shit questions. All right. You never know what's gonna come. He has a whole list of like 500 questions. I never know what's coming. So just bear with me.
It's just a recurring list. I randomly just think of questions and just write them down. See what your guys' answers are. All right.
do
So first one. What movie can you watch over and over and never get tired of?
White man can't jump.
Oh,
That's a
Okay,
great one.
I like that one.
Woody Harrelson classic.
Yep.
Yeah.
you know they
Wesley
lowered,
Snipes.
you know
is in
they
it, too.
you know they lowered the rims for that movie.
Of course.
Disappointing.
Yeah, it kind of disappointed
Randomly,
me
they
when
just
I
had an
read that.
article on ESPN about it. Like, was it an anniversary or something about when the movie came
But I
out?
heard it's because Wesley
Yeah,
Snipes
yeah.
couldn't dunk on 10 feet.
No, that's yeah, for sure. That's what it was.
Grant, what you got?
It'd have to be a superhero movie of some sort. I can't decide between an Avengers movie or a one of the new Spider-Man, or the most recent Spider-Man movie would probably be my choice.
Dude, I was
Now,
pretty,
it just came
pretty-
out.
pretty fucking
If you
sweet.
watch that movie over and over again, you would never get tired of it.
I don't think I'd get tired of that one.
It's got a little bit of
but-
everything, man.
And just so y'all are aware, any movie before like 2010 at this point, I don't even want to watch it because I can't handle the graphics. I can't at all.
He's only
Well, like,
19.
what about like comedies? What about comedies? Are you not a comedy guy?
I am a comedy guy, but
You don't need good. You don't
Okay,
need good
so-
cinematography
all right,
for
so
a classic comedy.
What are your comedies then, like that you like?
any Adam Sandler movie has always been great.
Okay, all right, that's you're approving so far. Like we're big like Step Brothers, Dumb and Dumber.
I think Step Brothers is funny, but like my roommate loves Step Brothers. I'm like, I don't want to watch that again, to be honest with you.
I got you.
It's
He's not a fan of one-liners.
I guess not. No.
Yeah.
All right,
it-
Nighthawk.
yeah. I'd probably be
Call me
Adam Sandler movies are really my comedy movies, or his group of friends in general. All
Oh,
their
yeah.
movies,
Like,
I love.
Now
all
you're
the
not
best-
talking like Adam Sandler and Grown Ups, are you? Are you talking like classic good Adam Sandler?
You're talking like Grandma's Boy.
Happy Gilmore. Those are the good ones.
Have you ever seen Grandma's
That-
Boy?
I haven't.
Oh my god!
I might have. No, I
No
might
one's
have.
ever seen Grandma's Boy.
All right, so
Please.
your homework for tonight,
Go
before
watch
you ever come
Grandma's
on our
Boy.
show, you got to go watch Grandma's Boy. It's part of Happy Madison. It's very good. You'll recognize half the cast that's in there. It's phenomenal. Jordan, have you ever seen it?
I don't think I have.
Oh
All right,
my
actually,
God.
stop everything.
I've
If
seen
you're
it.
new,
What?
okay, if you're
I'll
listening
watch
to the
it.
show and you like the show and you haven't seen Grandma's Boy yet, stop what you're doing. Actually, finish the episode first, but then afterwards, go find Grandma's Boy and then
And
thank
watch
us later.
it. Yes.
It's fucking hilarious. If you like Adam Sandler type movies, it's in that wheelhouse. Yeah, it's phenomenal. Anyways,
Sean, what's your movie?
it would be something probably like I like Billy Madison, like I could watch over and over again. I could go so many different routes. Like I could go any of the like the Dark Knight series. I could go any
Those are
three of
always
those
classics,
movies.
yeah.
I can go any of the Avenger movies. I can go comedy. I'm a movie buff, so like I'm not picky. Like I see a movie that's on, let's roll.
There's one movie that whenever it is on, I always stop to watch it. Do you know what that is?
No, because you're weird.
It's Braveheart.
Oh well, it's
Every
it's
time
my
it's
favorite
on,
movie. Yeah,
I got to sit down and watch
yeah.
it. So
if you
I
would have
never
asked me
get
like,
tired
what's
of
my
that one.
favorite movies of all time, like, that would have been a
but
conversation.
comedies, I'm right there with you. But Jordan, have you ever seen Beer League with Artie Lang?
Another one, folks.
What Beer League?
Beer League. It's another one.
What's the one with the Das Boot? Is that Das Boot?
That's Beer
League.
Fest.
That's Beer Fest.
I'm telling you,
This is
Beer
Beer
League
League.
with Artie Lang from was he in Howard Stern?
Howard Stern.
Dude, you
Thinking-
need to watch that movie because
Don't watch it with your kids around though.
Yes, no, it's
I'm like,
Well, actually,
watched a lot
depends
of
on if you
movies.
want your son to have a certain like, guys moment, then like you definitely watch it for
maybe
your son.
with like it's a great movie.
But they have this girl called the Pitching Machine, and you'll never guess why she's called the Pitching Machine. So, anyways, yeah. All right, next question. Anyways, from there.
Oh, you'll never guess why. All right, let's see. Which one do I want to ask you, gentlemen?
I don't know.
This is one of my favorite ones because some people can rapid fire it, other ones can't. What mythical creature do you wish existed?
Nice picture.
Let me do a quick.
How cool!
You doing flying horse, Jordan? I saw you with the.
Yeah, what's the movie? You go. What happened? You go, Grant. I'll think of it.
How cool would it be if there were actually some mermaids swimming around?
Damn straight,
Oh,
Little
I
Mermaid
like
would
that.
be real, right?
Dime piece.
I think
She's
that's
She's
in
like,
the
yeah,
movie.
she's like 15 in that.
Yeah, but
movie.
by now she'd be like,
Disgusting.
yeah. When she came out, I was like 9, so
She came out, I was in the
probably pretty hot
womb,
now.
so
It's probably pretty hot now.
you
I
hope.
don't want something like a dragon that's gonna, fuck me up. I don't
Do you
want
guys
that.
know? Do you know Wally Castler from K9?
Yes.
Like he's one of we interviewed him, and this is Dane asked this exact question, and he answered unicorns like it was
split
kind of
second.
weird like how fast he asked. Like he'd been thinking about this like his entire life, just waiting for someone to ask. But like, what mythical creature? No, wait, just unicorns. We're like, wow, this is like. So we've been waiting. We want to get a T-shirt made of unicorns doing awkward knuckles. So Wally, if you're listening to this, we want to get this done.
We need to make that happen.
Absolutely.
Now, was yours, Jordan? Was yours flying monkeys from Wizard of Oz?
No, it's that's a
This-
good one. The flying monkeys from Wizard of Oz.
Until you see them, and then you realize how creepy they are because they're scary.
So it's this flying. I can't remember the name of the movie for the life of me, but the big white dragon looking thing.
Are you talking
Never
about
Ending Story?
Yes,
Never
that
Ending
dragon. I want that dragon.
Story. Dude,
I hated
Yes.
that movie.
I want the
hell
dragon.
Yes.
I hated that movie.
Hell yeah.
At first, I thought like, you talking
I,
about
I,
Pete the
just,
Magic
I don't
Dragon?
necessarily like the movie.
So technically,
Okay.
that he is a dragon.
Yeah, kind of.
He's like, yeah. I mean, he's really a dragon, but
Yeah.
he looks like a dog.
I got you.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's
there you
I'm
go.
looking at it right- that's-
Counterpoints
yeah.
there. Grant doesn't want dragons. Jordan wants dragons.
Mermaid.
Now he's got
Dogs.
like Jordan wants magical dragons that look like fluffy white dogs that you can ride on and have them sing beautiful songs to you while you fall asleep. But
Yes.
that's okay.
Do you have any more? You good or?
Dude, I mean, should we ask one more?
Yeah, go
All right.
ahead.
Here's a good one for Jordan. What was cool when you were young, but is not cool anymore?
Talking like 40s, 60s.
We're around there.
I was gonna say like 8 tracks.
Jams.
What's that?
Jams. Remember jams? The shorts, the long, like they were like pajama style shorts that hung down mid shin.
All right.
They had
See,
this
there you go. He's
tie-dye.
aging himself. I was thinking Jinko jeans or
Yeah,
something,
kinda,
but
right?
yeah.
Jabot jeans.
Like by the time that came up to us, like it was like you're not allowed to wear that. Like
I think mine was Pogs. I thought Pogs were cool, and then I realized that they were just pieces of cardboard with graphics printed on them, and Kind of took the luster out of that one.
I mean, people are gonna. I mean, really, if you think about it, cornhole bags are kind of like the new Pogs. I mean, we
100%,
just don't
yeah.
slam them on.
So
top
yeah,
of
there's
each
no
other.
slammers though. Dude, maybe the BagDaddy slammer. You can come out with it.
Boom, bring Pogs back.
Notes.
Write it down.
Taking
Write,
notes.
write it
Jot it
down.
down.
Get it right down.
Get it on the list.
Write it. Write it down.
All right. Well, I'm good on fun random shit.
We gotta ask
Grant,
him.
you're
Ask him one more. You ask him your
All right.
question. Your question.
all right. Look, I didn't think Grant could really answer the question of what was cool when you were
Ask.
young.
I know
'cause
that.
you're
Ask
too
him
young,
this one
but-
though.
all right. The last one, and it's a
It's
serious
We've
debate.
been taking a poll for over 2 years.
Yeah. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
Thank you, Jordan.
No.
All
Grant,
right,
you
all right.
answered so quick.
Listen,
I just
you
want to
guys-
hear your explanation.
We're all
Why?
part. We're all part of like 95%. So don't let
What's-
them try to talk you into anything.
What's
All right, we're
meat
all good.
between two pieces? What's meat between bread? The sandwich?
To
The
me,
fuck's a
it
hot
is-
dog?
To me, yeah, but a hot dog's only a sandwich when the piece of bread actually comes apart. If it's together, it's a hot dog.
Now, what's a hoagie then?
A hoagie. It's a sub. It's completely.
It's just like a
separate.
sub's not a sandwich.
No. I kind.
So now you guys are getting real nitpicky here. All right. I think sandwich is a broader topic.
You know, I was thinking.
All right. And there's little there's little
Don't listen to
subsets of
To answer the
sandwich.
question, don't try to argue it. They answer from the heart of hearts. It's not a sandwich.
Yeah, but
The
I'm
hot
here to
dog is what
convert
makes-
everyone.
The actual hot dog is what makes it not a sandwich.
But then what's like an Italian sausage sandwich?
But see, he's just like he's
How is
adding,
that? How is that
he's
different?
adding the sandwich part to that.
No, I mean in Italian, you literally look at a menu and it says Italian sausage
On a bun.
sandwich.
No, it
Yeah,
might
it's on a
say bun.
hoagie.
Or my
All right, so
say
is a hoagie or a submarine no longer a
Some.
sandwich? It's a type of sandwich. A hot dog is a type of sandwich.
It's its
What
own
Google
separate
thing?
thing. I don't understand
I rest my case.
Anyways, okay. Jordan Grant, thank you for joining us. I'm really sorry. This is how it always happens, but I always like to see where.
For the record, he wanted me to ask
I
it. He
did.
knew where I was going with it. I never let it die because everyone says no except for one person, Mr. Matt Guy, and I still love you for it. It's the only one that I need.
No, and Brandon Jones.
Oh, Brandon Jones actually.
Yeah.
With me
There's
as
3
well.
of them. There's
Yeah.
literally 3 people in the world that think a hot dog sandwich is Matt Guy and
And
Brandon
we're
Jones. and Dane.
we're on a different level than everyone else, so I get it. It's all right.
You
fine.
just want to be different. Just say you want to be different.
It's fine. It's correct.
Grant, I don't have to say that. It's clear. It is clear as day.
Correct.
It's not something I have
Y'all
to.
coming to the Fort Worth Open?
Correct. Well,
Boys,
boys,
get the Fort Worth Open.
oh, dude. No,
Excuses
probably not.
already?
It's not looking great. I'm hoping so. Could wait. When is that one? Is that in May?
May 20, towards the end of May.
Let me tell you what. If Patreon takes off big time, then maybe. But probably not. We wanted to. It's just there's been so much shit going on this year, and me trying to kick off the website, and it probably not gonna. I wanted to because that was the one we were actually thinking about bringing our wives to.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be able to go to another open without like bringing them, and they're expensive. So like, I don't know if we'll be able to swing it this time. Cause I told them like, pick an open you want to go to. Like, we're going to be busy all weekend, but you guys can go hang out, do whatever the fuck you want, like free shopping trip on us. But we're not going to do that anymore because we want to go to Worlds for sure. So we're definitely going to be at Worlds again. If we can do another open, it would probably have to be within driving distance, even though we have family and stuff around there. Like, I don't know how close Plano, Texas is to Fort Worth.
Probably like 6
Uh,
hours.
No, it's not that.
An hour.
No, it's probably an hour, right? Yeah, I was gonna say it can't be that far. 'Cause it's only like 30-40 minutes outside Dallas, so it can't be that far.
So what would it take to get y'all to come to a signature series
For TCL,
for TCO?
I do like I'm dying to go. Like, I want to go for sure. I mean, if
It's
we can,
time.
I've been wanting
Can
to
you guys
get
give us time?
remind me, and I feel
Right.
terrible. Chad Jacobson, I've been wanting to get him on the show for a minute. Like just to kind of talk about, but I want to go out there because like I said, I've been watching live streams. I've heard him on a bunch when he was on the Dogcast before. Sounds like it's an awesome time. I'd love to go out there and check it out. I mean, really, it comes down for us. It's just, unfortunately, Texas is not within like driving distance, like for a weekend for us. So if we can afford to fly out there through all this stuff and sponsors and stuff, we'll be out there in a minute, man. I want to go out there for sure and check you guys out.
Hell yeah.
I think it'd be cool. Like,
I'm sure
and
we
we still
can
haven't. I want to go to an ACL event. I want to go to TCL. I'm not like, this podcast is 99% ACLs just because that's what's easiest for us to cover. If we were in Texas, it'd probably be easiest for us to cover TCL. So it's just, whatever it's here. But It is what it is, but I love watching it. I still watch as much as I can. I keep my eye on whatever new bags are being released in the TCL just to see if I need to snag a set. Just to
And upsell it.
Listen, it is what it
Bastard.
is, man. It is what it is. Bag market's changed though. It's not how it was a year ago. That's for sure. It's not even worth it anymore, really.
All right, Sean, let's let the folks go.
All right, keep these. We're gonna let
Bag
we're gonna let the
TCL
folks go at
market.
home, and then we'll have you guys hang on with us for just a minute. But thanks for joining us, and as always, we hope you throw it straight, and it's nothing but 4 baggers from here on out.
Cornhole it.
Later.